Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Oh, we are sailing to Palestina. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We are sailing to Palestina. To Palestina, Nazareth.
The Global Sumud Flotilla has left Greek waters and is going east toward Gaza, even after many warnings from Israel. On board, climate activist Greta Thunberg said she is not afraid of Israel and promised the ship will not turn back. Italy has said it will send only one Navy ship, not two, and it will not escort the flotilla, a softer move than people expected.
The flotilla is insanity. It shouldn't exist. It is absolute madness that everyday civilians, who have, for the most part, no training in making a 3,000-kilometer journey across the Mediterranean, in delivering aid, in coming across a superpower that are armed to the teeth.
And we are continuously hearing messages from the people of Gaza saying that they're looking forward to welcoming us there. The people of Gaza should have the right to decide what comes in and out of their own territorial waters, who to welcome. So we are very much hoping that we will be able to continue our peaceful humanitarian mission, completely abiding by international law.
Because Palestine is not the cause of calculating governments. It is the cause of the people against the greed, the deceit, the ugliness of the powerful. The world has chosen. Palestine is not alone. Palestine will never be alone. And the sea itself has spoken. No army, no blockade, no superpower can hold back the tide of justice.
This is a legal mission, and the terrorist actions of Israel that we're seeing right now, live streams from all the boats, they're using all those terror tactics, and the world is seeing. I don't know how many times we have to say that this is yet another war crime. And we have to keep our eyes on what's happening in Gaza, where they are intensifying the bombing, and at the same time they are attacking a civilian mission.
You are instructed to change your course. Any further attempt to sail toward Gaza endangers your safety and places you within an active war zone. If you continue on your route and attempt to breach the naval blockade, we will stop your vessel and act to confiscate it through legal proceedings in court.
So just a quick update on the flotilla. I've just been checking the tracker and it seems that there is still one vessel that is sailing. It's assumed that the rest of them have been intercepted, but there is one here, Marianetta. It is assuming that this is still sailing.
Breaking news. The Gaza aid flotilla is no longer just a convoy. It's now caught between warships, drones, and global politics. Italy and Spain have both sent naval ships after reports that the flotilla, carrying vital aid to Gaza, came under drone fire. But Italy quickly clarified, it's only sending one ship, and not to escort the flotilla, just to stand by for rescue operations if things go wrong. At the same time, Greece has stepped in. They promise safe passage through their waters because Greek citizens are on board. For them, this isn't just politics, it's personal. Meanwhile, at the United Nations, diplomats are warning that even small attacks on this flotilla could spark a bigger crisis across the Middle East. And all of this is happening while the humanitarian situation in Gaza keeps getting worse. Think about it. One convoy carrying food and medicine is now being treated like a global flashpoint. Every move, a drone strike, a naval ship, even a rescue standby, is sending signals to the world. This flotilla is no longer just about aid. It's a test of global diplomacy.
The flotilla is insanity. It shouldn't exist. It is absolute madness that everyday civilians, who have, for the most part, no training in making a 3,000-kilometer journey across the Mediterranean, in delivering aid, in coming across a superpower that are armed to the teeth. This is not the job of everyday people. This was the job of governments. This was the job of the United Nations. This was the last resort that everyday people had to step up and attempt to break a siege. This should have never happened. But to many people, they've spent the last 2 years or longer on their social media, making as much attention as they can to this genocide and the occupation. They've spent as much energy as they can on the streets, protesting. They've spent all of their money to avoid products so that they could boycott, divest. For many people, this was the natural next step. The flotilla was effectively the only form of direct action. It's one thing to say, hey, my values are I really care about Palestine. It's another thing to say, hey, I'm actually going to Gaza. And I think that for many people, this was the last resort. They'd had enough. and they felt hopeless and they felt helpless, and this represented hope.
I find myself crying in envy as I see the boats sailing from Barcelona, Sicily and Tunis. They are risking everything and I'm living my safe, comfortable life. You've probably come across the Arabic word sumud these days on your feed. It is joining other words such as intifada and kufiyya that have made their way into dictionaries and literature across the globe from within the Palestinian struggle. Sumud, in classical Arabic, means steadfastness, continuous perseverance. In the Palestinian context, however, it doesn't really have a fixed definition. It is rather a dynamic concept that represents the daily struggle to continue living under impossible conditions. It can be an act of non-violent resistance that may seem invisible and silent, but it is a deep resilience, rooted in love for life in the face of oppression and dispossession. It signifies the commitment to remain on one's own land and not be erased. Shield your wheat from the hurricane with a nailed chest. Bring the fence from the chests, How can it be broken? من الصدور فكيف يكسر. What has brought the word sumud to your feeds is a collective awakening of conscience. These boats are the world's response. Where you failed, we will act, they're saying. Individuals are finding themselves obliged to play a role that is not supposed to be theirs, hoping to go rescue 2 million people held prisoner in Gaza. The Global Sumud Flotilla is basically the hope of us all to remain human. 26,000 signed up to go on the Sumud Flotilla, including me. I even wrote goodbye letters to my loved ones. 26,000 were willing to risk their lives, pausing their jobs, leaving their families behind to worry about them, but also feel proud of them. I find myself crying in envy as I see the boats sailing from Barcelona, Sicily and Tunis. They are risking everything and I'm living my safe, comfortable life. I'm here making this video for you. I so wanted to actually be there with them. Dima, you're Palestinian. If you're detained, tortured, killed, or even raped, you will be just another Palestinian whose life does not matter to them. Sadly so. Israel will think twice before it kills a Westerner. Israel's Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir couldn't help but threaten activists taking part in the flotilla with a severe punishment. But they're brave and they are free. They said they would come back even with a bigger fleet and do it all over again. This is the true meaning of sumud. It is not about the outcome. It is about continuing to try no matter what. نفعل ما يفعله السجناء وما يفعله العاطلون عن العمل نربي الأرض.
Where governments have failed, people are trying to pick up the slack, looking for creative ways to contribute to the end of the genocide. At the end of the day, it's the failure of governments that led to these activists boarding these flotillas and making their way to Gaza, and it's the failure of governments now to protect these activists as they arrive at the shores. Every single one of these actions opens the door to another action. I think that's what Israel fears most. None of this happens without the United States, and Joe Biden could have stopped this and Trump could stop this. But I'd say that, as a Muslim, the anger towards Arab and Muslim governments, to be this impotent, despite the size, despite the leverage that you have with your resources. At the end of the day, these people are auditioning for the favor of Donald Trump, and everyone wants to be his poodle in the Middle East and to do the dirty work in exchange for all sorts of benefits. They care more about the approval and the well wishes and the benefits of being in partnership with the United States than they do about the people that are suffering in Gaza right now.
If the flotilla succeeds, if they reach the Palestinian people, that moment would be one of utter strength and humanity. It would puncture the feeling of powerlessness that has gripped so many of us, and it would be all too clear that ending this conflict is possible. That is why Israel is fearful of the flotilla, because Israel sees peaceful acts of resistance as a threat. All oppressors do. This is the crucial moment where those on board need our help, need the eyes of Ireland and the world on the flotilla, because witness is protection. This is not just about the safety of those on board the boat. It is about the over 66,000 dead, the destruction of a country and a people. It's about our collective humanity and the integrity of international law in the face of a genocide.
They set sail not with missiles, not with bullets, not with armies. They set sail with bread, with medicine, with baby formula, with a stubborn conviction that conscience still has a voice in this world. 50 vessels, 443 volunteers, 47 countries, writers, doctors, athletes, journalists, ordinary people who refused to let Gaza starve unseen. And how did Israel respond? With water cannons, with sewage sprayed in their faces, with communications jammed, with illegal detention in international waters, piracy dressed up as security, empty. 443 souls seized, shackled, taken away. Why? Because the flotilla is the bravest expression of a global solidarity movement. Israel fears it more than anything else. It fears it not for its weapons, because it has none, but for its weapon of conscience. After announcing his deal with Trump, parading Arab and Muslim rulers, many duped into providing cover, Netanyahu boasted, instead of isolating us, we isolated them. That has always been the formula. Isolate the Palestinians, wall Gaza off, choke it into silence, pretend it doesn't exist. But the Sumud Flotilla tears through that formula like a gale at sea. It declares Palestine's fate will not be written in boardrooms or by bombs. It will be written by humanity itself. And humanity has answered from Sydney to London, from Rome to Madrid. The banners rise. Palestine will not be erased. The Sumud Flotilla is not an isolated event, but the crest of a long wave. In 2008, 2 boats reached Gaza. In 2010, Israeli commanders stormed the Mavi Marmara in international waters, killing 10 activists in cold blood. In 2011, most of Freedom Flotilla 2 was blocked in Greek ports under diplomatic pressure. In 2015 and 2016, the women's boat to Gaza and Freedom Flotilla 3 were seized. In 2018, the Just Future for Palestine flotilla was intercepted. And now, in 2025, Israel has escalated to piracy from the skies. In May, the Conscience was struck by drones. In June, the Madeleine seized. In July, the Hamdallah intercepted. Not one boat has broken through in years. Yet not one attempt has been silenced, because solidarity cannot be sunk, conscience cannot be blockaded. The first idea was born in 2006. Nearly 2 decades later, what began with 2 small vessels has become a fleet of more than 50. The lesson of these 18 years is clear. The tide of defiance rises higher with every voyage and every interception. In 1947, the ship Exodus carried Holocaust survivors trying to emigrate illegally to Palestine, was turned away by the British. Zionist leaders turned that moment into theatre. They milked it, extracting sympathy from a West still raw from the Holocaust. Out of that sympathy came the UN partition resolution, and with it, the Nakba, the catastrophe of 1948. Today, Israel's genocide, ethnic cleansing and arrogance has created a mirror image, but this time, the sympathy flows not to the colonizer, but to the colonized. The solidarity is fierce, vast, global, seeking to correct the injustice of 1947 and 1948. If Exodus 1947 paved the way for Israel, then Exodus 2025, the Sumud Flotilla, marks the world rising to undo the wrong and restore justice to Palestine after more than a century of dispossession. That is what terrifies Netanyahu, the sight of unarmed civilians wielding more power than his army and his drones, because this flotilla carries the weight of humanity, unarmed, unyielding, undeniable, a force no navy can sink and no drone can silence, and it punctures the facade of lies. Yes, Israel starves Gaza. Yes, Israel bombs civilians. And yes, Israel fears nothing more than its own reflection. Before the interception, activist Sena Polat sent her last message from the flotilla. She says, if Gaza is not free, no one is free, because Gaza is the only place in the world that does not bow to the imperial Zionist order. No one is Gaza's hero. Gaza is its own hero. Gaza is the hero of all of us. If Gaza exists, there is awakening. If Gaza exists, there is liberation. Salam to Gaza. Salam to all the sad eyes. Salam to the people resisting with dignity. Salam to Rafah, to Beit Lahia, to Deir al-Balah, to Al-Maghazi, to every shore that refuses to bow. Her words echo the very heart of the flotilla, not governments, not rulers, but people carrying the voice of humanity across the sea. People like Tiago Avila from Brazil, Mandela Mandela from South Africa, Greta Thunberg from Sweden, and their brave comrades from every continent. They're closer to Gaza than the Arab and Muslim rulers who betrayed it. Because Palestine is not the cause of calculating governments. It is the cause of the people against the greed, the deceit, the ugliness of the powerful. The world has chosen. Palestine is not alone. Palestine will never be alone. And the sea itself has spoken. No army, no blockade, no superpower can hold back the tide of justice.
The entire world is seeing what is happening right now with Global Sumud Flotilla, and the entire world, it's been seeing for 2 years and 8 decades the genocide and the injustice and the occupation and apartheid that is happening in Palestine. Global Sumud Flotilla right now, it's an extension of the humanity and the active mission that is doing something to break the illegal siege. The illegal siege. This is a legal mission. And the terrorist actions of Israel that we're seeing right now, live streams from all the boats, they're using all those terror tactics, and the world is seeing. I don't know how many times we have to say that this is yet another war crime. And we have to keep our eyes on what's happening in Gaza, where they are intensifying the bombing, and at the same time they are attacking a civilian mission. This is pure terrorism. But I want to tell you something. We're seeing how it's taking shape, this beautiful action in the major cities of the world where people are striking right now. Come after me, but I'm going to tell you something. As the population, the civilians of the world who are choosing you, the coward government, all the pack of hyenas that are there in power, do something or step down. We have civilians from 44 countries. We need to stop this genocide, and we need to stop this terror entity that we're seeing when we're so disgusted. And of course, they activated all their boat farms on the internet with all their propaganda and everything, but we are not scared of you. And we have many ships who are 60 nautical miles from Gaza, and they are continuing the mission, a righteous and legal mission. So no matter where you are in the world, just speak up, go on the streets, strike.
We are here on the civilian boat Conscience, sailing the Mediterranean. We are over 90 civilians, dozens of medics and media workers. As we are speaking, our colleagues, our friends, our comrades are being attacked by Israeli forces. They are civilian vessels bearing nothing but themselves, humanitarian aid and solidarity, trying to reach the besieged people of Gaza. Israel's attack is unlawful and is only allowed because our governments have allowed Israel to get away with crimes, not only these past few days, not only the last 2 weeks, but for the last 80 years. Israel has put Gaza under an illegal blockade. Israel has engineered a famine, and Israel is on trial for genocide, and our countries are not intervening. And so we civilians are on the high seas trying to reach the people of Gaza to stop this genocide, to break the blockade, and our governments are not doing anything, as Israel right now is attacking our colleagues. But they will not stop us. We are days behind the Global Sumud, and we are going to keep going, because the world that Israel and the United States and Western countries want to create is a world that is dangerous for all of us. So we will keep going, and we will keep shouting that we must break the siege.
We repeat, this is the Israeli Navy. You are approaching a blockaded zone. If you wish to deliver aid to Gaza, you may do so through the established channels. Please change your course toward the port of Ashdod, where the aid will undergo a security inspection and then be transferred into the Gaza Strip. Attempting to reach the Gaza Strip via sea while breaching the naval blockade violates international law and poses a direct security threat to Israel and its citizens. You are instructed to change your course. Any further attempt to sail toward Gaza endangers your safety and places you within an active war zone. If you continue on your route and attempt to breach the naval blockade, we will stop your vessel and act to confiscate it through legal proceedings in court. You bear full responsibility for your actions.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I'm a citizen of Sweden. If you are watching this video, I have been abducted and taken against my will by Israeli forces. Our humanitarian mission was non-violent and abiding by international law. Please tell my government to demand my and the others' immediate release.
The Israeli Navy has boarded a flotilla of boats sailing towards Gaza and is detaining the activists on board. Swedish political activist Greta Thunberg has just been detained. She is among 500 people, including 6 Australians, on the vessels carrying out humanitarian aid. Let's have a live look right now from on board some of the floats, which have all got live cameras which have been installed there. The Israeli Navy has issued a final call for the flotilla to change course before the interception.
So just a quick update on the flotilla. I've just been checking the tracker and it seems that there is still one vessel that is sailing. It's assumed that the rest of them have been intercepted, but there is one here, Marianetta. It is assuming that this is still sailing. That's what it's coming up as. The rest intercepted. Don't know, only God knows. But it seems that there is still one on its way. Let's just pray. Let's just hope. Let's just keep them in our prayers and thoughts, and pray that they are able to break the siege. Follow Global Sumud Flotilla on Instagram, on here, on TikTok, and also check out the tracker to keep yourself updated with what is happening and who has been intercepted and who is still going.